I knew who you were by then, okay? But the pandemic was so difficult for everybody. It was particularly difficult for people who were caring for people in like the villa. I mean, and every day I saw you in your scrubs. I knew you weren't sitting in your ivory tower. I knew you were out there every day caring for people. And it just meant a lot to me, Rochelle. And I thought, yep, she's a Church Street girl. That's who she is.
Well, stories about my family, the Schick family and the Parks family, there are just so many stories. I feel like I know things about Sister Mary just because my dad would talk about the Parks family all the time. I heard stories about her singing voice. She has a beautiful, beautiful singing voice. And he would say you could hear her singing in the house next door. There's only a driveway that separates our houses.
Right. We played together all the time. It was
Yeah.
my mom and your grandmother.
My grandma.
Good friends, close friends. I mean, they were having babies at the same time. You know how that goes. Your grandmother made the best donuts I have ever had. Did you ever have her donuts?
I don't remember. She
Oh my
died when I was
gosh.
pretty young.
Oh.
But everybody who knows me knows I have a fascination with donuts.
Oh, really?
So I feel like that's a little piece of my grandma. And my grandma was very near and dear to me, growing up in the house right next to her. I was thinking back to this. I think our society and our world wants to find things that make us different. And my tendency is like, how are we the same? Let's work from there, where we're the same. You grew up in a very devoutly Catholic family next to my Protestant family, and that didn't change. That was never spoken of. I love that. I love that it wasn't, the Catholic family next door, the Protestant family over here.
No.
It
Those two
wasn't
were, they were in and out of their back doors to each
Yes.
other's houses all the time. It was not at all.
Right.
I would always find your grandmother having a cup of coffee with my mother,
Yes.
always. Yeah.
Yes, and I feel like the same thing here.
Mm-hmm.
That's not a part of it. You are a community that cares for the dear neighbor. We started as an orphanage, Concordia did, and has always looked to care for those who need care. And then it evolved into caring for older adults. And that's part of our mission too, is to care for people without distinction, so to speak, those with limited funds to the best of our ability. And that's a lot of people.
In our minds, we had a standalone nursing home. We had a good reputation. It was doing okay. But in our minds, we could see ourselves getting older. I think we were looking at the future and thinking, you know, what we could get in trouble with this. I mean, honestly, you know.
Right.
And then the pandemic
Right.
proved that true. I think if we had continued, we might have, you know, lost the villa in a way that wasn't helpful to anybody. So yeah, I think it was, God helped us to make a good decision there.
The timing was key.
Yeah.
I can't imagine going through the pandemic as a standalone.
Mm-hmm.
Most standalones didn't make it.
That was my observation.
Right, and it didn't have to do with, the villa was great. The villa's reputation was amazing. They had great outcomes. Everything about it was good, but the pandemic was bad.
Yes, it
And
was.
it was difficult, and we had so many people working on that corporately. What a blessing. It just really was the right
Sometimes
time.
bigger is better. We have always said, the Sisters of St. Joseph, since 1650, we love the dear neighbor, and we love God and the dear neighbor without distinction. So there are no exceptions.
Right.
Every neighbor is a neighbor in God's eyes, right? So,
Absolutely.
but here, when we knew we needed to sell the villa, I really think God brought Concordia to us because we wanted a partner who shared the same value system, that understood that this isn't a business. This can never be a business. This is about caring for other people.
I tell people all the time, I felt like this was a beautiful marriage where we got the best of two families coming together. And people will ask me, how do you change the culture? And I said, well, I don't think we want to think about changing the culture if it doesn't need to be changed. I felt like we had two great cultures coming together to make it even better.
Marriage is a good comparison, because that's what happens in every good marriage. One doesn't overpower the other.
Right.
Both cultures are respected, and enhance the new family.
Yes.
Yeah.
And we've stayed together. The sisters are still on our advisory board. We employ a sister here, which is wonderful. I love having
And our
that.
sisters have had care here off and on, and will continue to,
Yes.
because we need the care of Concordia. Our sisters now are, well, many of them are in their 80s and 90s, and probably more than half of the community. We have only 8 sisters under 70, and we know that we have to have a continuum of care here for our sisters. We have tried to care for them in our mother house, and we've cared for them well.
Yes.
But I sense, a time is coming when we just won't have room in the inn. So what do? You depend on your neighbors.
Right. And that's what I try to tell people, and that's the sentiment moving forward is people will say, is it different now since the sisters ran it? And I try to tell them that it's a continuation. It's a continuation of the great things that they did.
It just made sense to us. It could still go on caring for everybody, whether we ran it or someone else did. It could, it's not like we were gonna tear it down or something, you know what I mean? So were people afraid that the mission would change? Oh, maybe some of them were, I don't know. But I think in the end, it proved to be the best decision all the way around, Rochelle. For us, for the community, I hope for Concordia. So, yeah.